Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari,
Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear friends, Vaishnavas, devotees joining from all over the US and some from India as well. Anyone joining from India? Okay. So thank you once again. We will get started with our session 2 of Bhagavad Gita reading. So last time we discussed about the background of Bhagavad Gita, about the importance of Bhagavad Gita in our lives. And before we move on, I would like to take some reflections. Reflection is something which really struck you from last time. Anything really inspired you, anything really like a one-liner or so, not in a detail, but just short and sweet. But before I go there, I just want to remind everyone about some housekeeping rules. So I encourage or request everyone to engage. That means, if possible, try to keep your videos on. It really gives me hope, and so I'm talking to some person, not to some black screen. And we'll approach Bhagavad Gita with little faith, because Bhagavad Gita can be only understood by a devotee or one who has faith in the Lord. If we are totally skeptical and totally um, kind of have this negative attitude, then we will not be able to get anything out of Bhagavad Gita. And I also encourage devotees to do the suggested reading. So it's my suggestion. It will help you because, as I said, we will not be reading each and every word in this session. The goal is to complete the Bhagavad Gita in 1 year. That's about 52 weeks. So that level of time commitment will not be able to read each and every word. Here, I'll be giving the essence. So I suggest, encourage, request devotees to read the suggested reading at your comfortable time during the week. And then fill the spreadsheet. I've shared the spreadsheet with you. Fill the Google form if you have not done so. And then sharing is caring. I know a lot of devotees shared, a lot of friends invited their brothers, sisters, relatives, etc. This is really wonderful. So before we start to a new session, I would like to take some reflections, maybe to male devotees. Out of love and respect, we call them Prabhus, okay, or Prabhuji. And to female devotees, out of respect as a mother, we call them Mataji. So I hope no one would mind that, because some of us may be addressing as Prabhu, Mataji, and some of you may be totally new to that terminology. So it's optional. You don't have to address like that. You be natural, be yourself. If you feel comfortable, you can address. If you feel comfortable addressing some other way, that's absolutely fine. So any two Prabhus and two Matajis would like to tell something really struck you from last time. Short and sweet, like a one-liner or so. Anyone? Okay. Okay, Ravi Prasad Prabhu, you can go ahead. And others two Prabhus and two Matajis can raise their hand as well, so I know who may want to speak.
Hare Krishna, everybody. I was reading the introduction, Prabhuji, and I came across one line which kind of really mind blowing. It says every activity of the human being is to be considered a failure unless he inquires about the nature of the absolute. Brahm Jigyasa.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's a real goal of human form of life, to ask those questions, to have that inquisitiveness. And that's why I guess all of us are here, because we want to know what is the real goal of life, what's the purpose of human form of life, and why are we here. So thank you for sharing that. Very nice. Anyone else wants to share? Short and sweet. Yes, Megha Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So I really like how Lord Krishna has said Bhagavad Gita, and I would like to know how we can apply that in our everyday life. Like what all he explained to Arjuna, I would like to know how we can practically apply that.
Wonderful. That's true. Bhagavad Gita is not just theory, it's Vyavahara Shastra. It's a book to live by. Not just a book to memorize. Some people are interested in memorizing verses, which is fine, which is absolutely good. But what's um, one devotee shared an example. It's like a recipe book. Okay, so there are some cooking books, etc. If a person memorizes all the recipes in the cooking book, okay, let's say there are 500 recipes, but he does not apply even one. Okay. On the other hand, a person just tries to understand one simple recipe, how to cook plain rice, and cooks that and offers it to Lord and feeds it to all his family. Which is better? Anyone? How many of you say the first person who learned all the recipes is better and never cooked anything? No one. How many of you say the second person who read one and applied it? Right? You all agree. So it's always better to try to apply Bhagavad Gita, not just memorize. So very nice point. Anyone else wants to tell a point or two? Okay, so Vikant ji, we'll take one more point and then that will be the last. Yes, please tell yours.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Last week's class was about the importance of Bhagavad Gita. A person may not read all the Puranas, Shastras, and all that, but sincerely and devotedly and faithfully, if you read Bhagavad Gita, that's enough for anybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's beautiful. Because Bhagavad Gita is the essence, and that we will discuss today as well. So, welcome again to this session 2 of Bhagavad Gita as it is discussion. And this knowledge, it's not my knowledge, it's not any Tom, Dick, Harry's knowledge. This is coming from our teachers. This knowledge coming from the Supreme Lord and the bona fide parampara. So we begin by Mangalacharan, that means prayers to invoke auspiciousness, the prayers of the Guru Parampara, because all we are is a blessing of our teachers. So you can chant along, but on the mute, because if everyone, all 30 or 40 of us chant together, it will be very difficult. So you can chant along in the mute fashion while keeping your microphones at mute. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sahagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Kala Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Bhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Vinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So thank you again for joining, for those who joined a little later. So in the last session, we discussed about the importance of Bhagavad Gita, about importance of Guru Parampara, about understanding through Shabda Praman, not through our direct sense perception, because there are so many challenges with the senses. We discussed some illusions as well. And then we started with text 1 of Bhagavad Gita. So we have to complete text 6 and 7 of the Gita Mahatmya, and then we will study from text number 2. So, yes, please keep your phones or apps on mute. So, if you have a question, you can always ask at the end. So let's study text 6 and 7 of the Gita Mahatmya. Would someone like to read text number 6, please? Shital Mataji, would you like to read?
Text 6, Hare Krishna. Sarvopnishado gavo dogda gopala nandanaha partho vatsaha sudhira bhokta dugdam gitamritam mahata. Translation: all the Upanishads are like cow, and the milker of the cow is Lord Krishna, the son of Nanda. Arjuna is the calf, the beautiful nectar of the Gita is the milk, and the fortunate devotees of fine theistic intellect are the drinkers and enjoyers of that milk. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So all the Upanishads, all the Vedic literatures is compared to a cow here. And what's the essence of cow? Milk. But the cow will not give the milk. And who does the milking? The milkman. Gwala. Krishna is Gopala. Krishna loves cows. So, but the cow will not give the milk until the calf comes. For those of you may have seen this process, the cow will not give the milk until the calf drinks the milk. So, who is the calf? Through whose medium the milk is getting distributed to others, the calf is Arjuna. And that milk represents the nectar of all the Upanishads, all the Puranas, all the Vedas is Bhagavad Gita. And who are the recipients? Partho Vatsa. Vatsa means calf. Sudhir Bhokta. Dhi means intelligence. Su means good. People who have good intelligence, like all of you, who are present to drink this milk. Because others are absorbed in drinking the poison of the material world. The material world, sense gratification, etc., is compared to poison that pollutes us. But the milk or the amrita, this is called amrit. Amrit means nectar. This is the nectar of Bhagavad Gita. And we discuss how it will purify us, how it will cleanse us in and out. So all of you are certainly very, very intelligent, very, who are making the best use of this human form of life by drinking the nectar of Bhagavad Gita. One more verse, and this the acharyas also give this analogy. that when the milk is boiled, what comes on the top is the, what do you call, the cream. Mhm. So cream is the condensed portion of the milk, and that's compared to the Bhagavatam. So these two books are especially very, very important. Bhagavad Gita is book, is like by Krishna, and Srimad Bhagavatam is about Krishna and his devotees. Bhagavad Gita teaches us philosophy, like what is karma, what is kala. Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us how to apply this philosophy in a very, very practical way. Of course, we will, as we are studying Bhagavad Gita, we will be studying the practical applications as well, um, in all our sessions, at how each verse, and especially today is also, is a very, very interesting topic. Actually, I'm eager to discuss that. But before that, let's read the last verse also of Bhagavad Gita Mahatmya, text 7. Abhishek ji, would you like to read, please?
Hare Krishna. Text 7. Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva Eko Mantras Tasya Namani Yani Karmapi Ekam Tasya Devasya Seva. Translation. There need be only one holy scripture, the divine Gita sung by Lord Sri Krishna. Only one worshipable Lord, Lord Sri Krishna. Only one mantra, his holy names, and only one duty devotional service unto that supreme worshipable Lord Sri Krishna. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Thank you so much. Ekam. Ekam means one. What is that one Shastra? Devaki Putra. Devaki is the mother of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Devaki Putra refers to Krishna. The Gita given by the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. There is only one Supreme God. That is Devaki Putra Eva. Certainly he is that Supreme Lord, Eva. Eko Mantras. What is that one mantra, especially in the Kali Yuga? You don't have to worry about so many mantras in the Vedas and Upanishads and Puranas. One simple mantra, anyone can chant, everyone can chant at every place, in every circumstances, joy or sorrow, young or old, male or female. What is that one mantra? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the formula, especially in this day and age of Kali Yuga. And karmani api eka tasya devasya seva. And what is the one karma which everyone must do, without which all our other karma will be futile, right? That is to serve the Supreme Lord. Without that, all other karmas will be in vain, and we'll discuss that more. So now this brings us to text number 2, and I hope you all remember what we discussed last time, the background about the war little bit. Dhritarashtra spoke the first verse, and from second verse, Sanjay is speaking. Sanjay is basically narrating the whole Bhagavad Gita to Dhritarashtra. And how could Sanjay narrate him? How was Sanjay able to narrate? Through Vyasa Prasada, by the mercy of his spiritual master, right? So I'll say this one. Sanjaya uvacha drishtva tu pandavanikam vyudam duryodhanastada acharyam upasangamya raja vachanam abravit. Okay, looks like Mohan Anti Prabhu. You can read the translation, please. Okay, Avinashji, please, you can read the translation. Others, please keep
Translation.
on mute.
Sanjay said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and he spoke the following words. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, words have a lot of power, correct? Words have a lot of power. And we will see here, Prabhupada starts with this purport by saying that Dhritarashtra was blind from birth. That's fine, karma or whatever situations, that cannot be controlled in most situations. But what can be controlled is, unfortunately, he was bereft of spiritual vision. That certainly can be controlled. So, and how can we do that? How can we uproot our spiritual blindness? Is by taking shelter of a bona fide teacher, taking shelter of Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, we will remain blind to see the things in true perspective. Spiritual life means to see things in true perspective and to use things for their true perspective. If this human body is meant for a higher perspective, right? Or a higher purpose, everything has a purpose. The pen has a purpose, the earphone has a purpose. If I don't use things for the correct purpose, right? For example, I use my phone for hammering nails. What will happen? The phone will get damaged and I'll neither be able to hammer the nails either. So I need to understand what is the true purpose of the phone and what is the right tool for hammering the nails. So, and who will help me? A bona fide teacher. The manual of that phone will help how to use it. Similarly, in life, we don't have to become like Duryodhana or Dhritarashtra. We have to awaken our real knowledge through the process of surrendering to bona fide spiritual master. So now here Duryodhana spoke the following words because Dhritarashtra was in anxiety. What's going to happen? What's going to be the outcome? Will they fight? Will they not fight? What did they do? That was the first verse. The Pandavas and the Kauravas, my sons and the sons of Pandu. So see, this is again spiritual blindness. Having this separatist mentality, me and mine. This is me, this is someone else. So this is my family and this is others. So we will study that later in more detail. But today we have to cover till text number 20. So we will study a few verses and then discuss in more detail and also open up for question and answers. So move on to the next verse. And in your reading, you will study till text number 20 at your end. That means you will be going through the purports as well, which we will be discussing briefly. Pashyatam Panduputranam Acharya Mahatam Chanum Vyudam Drupada Putrena Tava Shishyena Dhimata. Manasa Mataji, would you like to read the translation, please?
Jai Sri Krishna. Translation. O my teacher, uh, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligence, discipline, the son of Drupada.
Thank you so much. You are from Tampa, correct?
Yes.
Thank you for connecting.
Thank you.
So now, as we discussed that words have a lot of power, and Duryodhana is an expert diplomat. Duryodhana here is an expert politician who knows how to kind of infuriate the anger of Dhrita or Dronacharya, because he approached whom in the last text we read. Duryodhana went to his teacher, Acharya, Drona. Duryodhana went to Dronacharya and spoke the following words. Now he said, look at that army, expertly arranged by the intelligent disciple of the son of Drupada. Now, who is he referring to by saying son of Drupada? For that, we will have to go a little bit in the background of Mahabharata, and I'll share a lot of stories, as I said before also. So you will like this because some of you may have no background, some of you may have a lot of backgrounds. We'll not be discussing all the names which will be coming here, but we want to discuss some of the names. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the scene going on. Okay, the Great War of Mahabharata at Dharmasheshtra. So there are two parties, the Kaurava side and the Pandava side. Okay, the Kaurava side is primarily the 100 Kauravas, and the Pandava side is the Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadeva. Okay, and also the teacher Dronacharya, whose son was Ashwatthama. Okay, you don't have to remember if it's too much, just absorb, just see, and I can share this with you, and this will be recorded as well. And Bhishma Pitama is the grandfather of the Kauravas and the Pandavas, but he was fighting on the side of Kauravas due to some obligations. Same applies to Dronacharya. And Karna also is fighting on the side of Kauravas. Kauravas are the son of Dhritarashtra, we discussed that, and Gandhari. Pandavas are the sons of Pandu and Kunti and Madri. So, so Maharaj Pandu had two wives. So the first three were from Pandu and Kunti, and then Nakula and Sahadeva are the sons of Madri. And not to forget, Lord Krishna was also on this side, which is very, very important point for today. So now the mention is about Drishtadyumna. Hey, look at this, look at the army arranged expertly by Drishtadyumna. But he is not saying Drishtadyumna because he is very, very expert diplomat. He could have said Drishtadyumna. He is saying, look at the army arranged by the son of Drupada. For that, let me tell you a story. Who wants to hear a story? I guess everyone. Drishtadyumna was the father of, was the son of Drupad. And Draupadi also was the daughter of Drupad. Okay. So Drupad Maharaj and Dronacharya were childhood friends. Drupad was Kshatriya, a warrior class, and Dronacharya was a Brahmana. They studied in, you can say, in the same Gurukul. Okay. Now in the Gurukul, they had very close friendship. And one day, Drupad told his friend, who? Dronacharya, that anytime you need something, just come and ask. I'll give you half of my kingdom, If you ever need, I'll give you half of my kingdom. Duryodhana, Dronacharya, at that time things were fine, and then he went back to his place. They all graduated, things moved on, and Drupad got the kingdom. He became the king, and Dronacharya, being a Brahmana, his profession was to teach. Now, one day, seeing the poverty-stricken situation of his son Ashwatthama, Ashwatthama did not even have the milk to drink. So he would, mix some flour in water and make it like a milk and try to drink it because they didn't have cow, they didn't have afford money to afford milk. And that time, Dronacharya thought, well, let me go to my friend, who? Drupad, because he promised he'll give me half of his kingdom. I don't need half of the kingdom, but I can ask for at least one cow. Of course, and giving charity to Brahmanas is anyways a wonderful thing, and he has so much, he can certainly give a little bit. So with a lot of hope, he went there. Dronacharya went to Drupad and reminded him of his promise that Drupad Maharaj, you told that you will give me half of your kingdom. I don't need half of the kingdom, but can I beg for a cow? And we are friends, of course, we are childhood friends. And Drupad kind of insulted him at that point, said, well, friendship is amongst equals, get out of here. At that point, Dronacharya felt very insulted. And of course, he came back, but that propensity that, that he wanted to take, he didn't like the whole situation. It hurt him a lot. And therefore, at that time, he couldn't do much, but he wanted to do something. So later, Dronacharya became the teacher of the Kurus, the Pandavas, and the Kauravas. And you may have heard that famous story. One time their ball fell in the well, and no one could take out. So Dronacharya got some blades of grasses, long grasses, and put one on top of the ball, and next on top of the ball, and boom, 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 and make like a rope, and the ball came out. And seeing that, they were all amazed. Oh my God, what kind of teacher is he? At that point, Bhishma appointed Dronacharya as the teacher, who taught the Kauravas and the Pandavas, who were, and the famous student amongst all of them was Arjuna. So Arjuna was the dearmost student, not because he was so like determined to study, right? As we approach the teacher will reciprocate accordingly. Ashwatthama, being the son of Dronacharya, was not as expert like a warrior like Arjuna. Why? Because of Arjuna's determination, Arjuna's eagerness. He would practice day and night. If we also practice with that sincerity, we'll also become dear to our Guru and to the Supreme Lord as well. So now the time of graduation came. And at the time of graduation, they gave something called Guru Dakshina. So they asked, well, what can we give to you, Guru Maharaj, Guru Dev, Dronacharya? What can we give to you? Everyone asked. Dronacharya said, get Drupad here. He insulted me badly. So first Kauravas went, headed by Duryodhana. They were defeated badly by Drupad and his team. But then came the great Arjuna, and all Arjuna and the Pandavas, they all went, and they kind of bound Drupad and brought him to Dronacharya. And at that point, Dronacharya kind of, being a Brahmana, said, well, I can take practically your kingdom because now you are my servant. My students have given a gift of Guru Dakshina as you. So for a Kshatriya, it's very, very insulting, but I don't need your kingdom. Okay, I release you. But the point was that you are defeated. So Drupad felt very, very insulted, and he did a big sacrifice to get a son to kill Dronacharya. Is everyone clear? And this was the son, Drishtadyumna. And interestingly, look at the noble character of Dronacharya as well. He taught the same person whom he knew that in future this person is going to kill me, because that's how the yajna has been done already. Will anyone of us even try to think about it? Just think about the character of great personality. Dronacharya was also a great devotee and a great Brahmana and a great teacher. So there are multiple lessons that a teacher should not distinguish who is worthy of education or not. Dronacharya did not distinguish, well, Drishtadyumna is the person who is going to kill me in future. Correct? He could have said, well, this is the same person who will kill me. Why should I teach him? Right? Drishtadyumna was given training, and that's Duryodhana also knew very well. So Duryodhana is kind of pointing out the weakness of Dronacharya. Dronacharya, you were crazy. Look at you. So by using his diplomatic words, he is bringing out the weakness or kind of trying to infuriate Dronacharya. Now don't show any favoritism. Now don't show any weakness. Fight with great strength. The same Drishtadyumna whom you gave training is standing right in front of you to kill you. The same Arjuna is standing right in front of you to kill you on the opposite side. So my dear friends, words have great power. So there's very practical lessons. Diplomatic people, envious people, bring out the worst in others using their diplomatic words. Correct? But noble souls use the same words to bring out the best in others. The words have a lot of power. And we have seen in the history, in the modern history as well, how Hitler used the power of words to bring out the worst in others. And how Srila Prabhupada used the same words full of love and compassion to bring out the best in them. Best in the hippies turned to happies. So the words we speak have a lot of power. We should always consider very carefully words which come out of our mouth. We should not be like Duryodhana, trying to instigate the bad side of others. And this is very, very practical also. because whether it's in any relationship, any community, any family, the words we choose have, can make it or break it. So therefore he used the word Drupada Putrena to bring that to bring that negative emotion, like an expert politician, like an expert diplomat. So this was the story of Drupad, Dronacharya, and Drishtadyumna. Okay, is it clear? Is it or too complex? I hope it's clear. Okay, perfect. So now let's move on. So what's happening now? Now, basically, Duryodhana is doing an analysis of the sides, who is on Kaurava side and who is on the Pandava. So look at the side from text number 3 to 6. He's doing an analysis of the opposite side, or he's sharing who all are present. Okay, so we just read number 3, and Duryodhana warned that one should, he should not show any leniency now. In the past, you showed leniency to Arjuna, etc., but don't show it now. Atra shura maheshwasa bhima arjuna samayudhi yuyudhano viratascha drupadascha maharatha. Okay, so Murali Bhojana Gali Pali. Sorry, if I'm mispronouncing your name. Bhojana Pali. Where are you joining from? Can you please
Yes,
tell?
Swami. Yeah, my name is Murali Bhojanapalli.
Oh, super. Thank you. You're joining from Jackson, Tennessee?
Yeah, correct.
Oh, thank you. Would you like to read the translation for this one?
Sure. Here in this army are many heroic bowmen equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. Great fighters like Yudhana, Virata, and Drupada.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So here, Duryodhana is sharing about the main people on the side of Pandavas. And of course, all these names are very, very important. But as I said, if we go in every name, then every name is a class in itself. But some prominent ones, Arjuna, we know that he's the main hero, having his Gandiva. Bhima had the strength of 10,000 elephants. That means if he would punch 10, like imagine 10,000 elephants standing in rows, and if he would punch one, the 10,000 also would fall. What would happen to the first one? Only that first one can tell. So that was his strength. Each of his arm had, and the Duryodhana knew very well that if anyone could challenge him, it was Bhima. And Bhima was so powerful that in his childhood, like he would carry these Kauravas on his back and sometimes throw them and sometimes just kick them in playing. And and they all would made so many plans to kill Bhima, fed him poison, but nothing would happen. All that would end up increasing his own strength because that was Bhima. Very, very powerful. And Bhima especially had taken 3 vows actually, that I will, kill all the 100 Kauravas. When Mata Draupadi was being disrobed in the in that sabha, in that assembly, the Bhima had taken 3 vows that I will kill, number one, I will kill all the 100 Kauravas. And oftentimes, other Pandavas would get opportunities to kill, but to kill the Kauravas, but they would stop because they wanted to respect the vow of Bhima. So Bhima only killed, and later you will see all the Kauravas. So in the Maya Sabha, yes, thank you. What was the second vow? I will break the Duryodhana's thigh, because Duryodhana showed his thigh to Mother Draupadi, and I will. Also, the third vow was that I'll wash Draupadi's hair by the blood of Dushasana. So quite Kshatriya propensities, but And it is said, because of, the attempt they made to destroy Mata Draupadi, it's mentioned in the Bhagavatam that their countdown started. It's exactly mentioned like that. The countdown of their death started the day they attempt to disrobe Mother Draupadi. If one does not respect women, one cannot expect any good qualities. One cannot expect, because our Shastras give a lot of respect, and therefore we say mother, right? Mataji is out of lot of respect. Some people say have ill feelings about scriptures or the ancient Vedas, and that they don't give respect to women, but that's not truth. That's a misinterpretation or misunderstanding. Our scriptures give unlimited respect to the mother, to the woman. So, and of course, the Supreme Lord does so much respect. So the point here is, here some of the soldiers, the main soldiers are mentioned, Arjuna, Bhima, etc. We'll move on to the next verse. We'll only read the translation. There are also great heroic, I'm going to share the screen. There are also great heroic powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chekitana, Kashiraja, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja, and Shaipya. Okay. Yuddhamanyuscha Vikranta, Uttamojascha Viryavan, Saubhadro Drupadeyascha Sarvaiva Maharatha. Kesi Mataji, would you like to read text number 6 translation? Kesi Mataji, can you unmute and read if possible? Okay, maybe next one she'll be ready. Yes, Sampada, you can read this one.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Translation: There are the mighty Yuddhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamaja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So these were the warriors on the sides of Pandavas. Okay. And who is doing this analysis? Who knows the answer? Who is doing all this analysis?
Sanjay.
Sanjay is narrating what Dhritarashtra, what Duryodhana is kind of telling, right? Duryodhana, he spoke these following words to whom?
Dronacharya.
Dronacharya, his teacher. So in short, Dronacharya is the person who is hearing, and this Sanjay is basically narrating what's happening about 100 miles away. So he's just narrating as it is, like how we are reading as it is. Subhadra, Lord Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, was the sister of Krishna and the wife of Arjuna. One of the wives of Arjuna. And Draupadi, Mata Draupadi, we have already discussed. She was also the wife of the Pandavas. Okay. So their sons were present. So it was a big war. Like multiple generations were there. Okay. And that we will see later how Arjuna will say, oh, uncles are present, grandfather is present, my nephews and nieces are present. So the equals were there, about 4 or 5 generations were there. Text number 7. Yeah, please, I humbly request to please keep your phones on mute when you are not speaking. It will help everyone. Asmakam tu vishishtaye Tanibodha dvijottama nayaka mam sainyasya sangyartha tan bravimite. Ismat, you ready? Huh? Please.
Hare Krishna. But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are specially qualified to lead my military force.
Thank you so much. Now, Duryodhana, being an expert politician again, it's like telling, oh, this person is great. Look at that side, look at that side, look at that side. This side will get discouraged. Do we have someone here also? It's like, you know, on the day of exam, if the you know, the parents tell, well, this question may come, this question could be very difficult, you may face this difficulty, will the person get happy or sad about it? Right, the person will say, well, you know, why don't you encourage me, rather you discourage him. So Duryodhana, you know, gave a, actually first he infuriated or removed the leniency. Now he wants to switch gears, and now he wants to tell the side, our side. Okay, forget about their side. Their side is there, but we have our side also, which is more powerful. Okay, so now he is switching from the Pandavas' army and coming to his own side and telling, okay, let's understand who are qualified to lead the military force on our side. Okay, so now we are switching gears from Pandava sides to the Kaurava sides. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kripascha Sammitim Jayah Ashwathama Vikarnascha Somadattis Tathaivacha. Okay, translation. Who would like to read? Yashoda Mataji, would you like to read?
Yeah. The translation, there are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta called Bhuriswara, who are always victorious in battle. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Where are you joining from?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
So that's the advantage of this, you know, wonderful forum. If we would have been doing this physically, then we would have missed your association, right? It's not possible to come every week or, you know, and fly from different parts of the world to meet. But you're using this technology for a good cause, to read and study Bhagavad Gita. So thank you so much. Thank you. So someone's phone is not on mute here. Please, I humbly request, and please keep your phones on mute. Okay, now back to our discussion. So some of the names he is mentioning. First of all, like you, because he's talking to him, and him here refers to Dronacharya. It's like if he would have said some other name, Dronacharya would have felt, well, am I not important? It's like you talk to someone and say, well, we have a great team. We have Mr. X, Mr. Y, Mr. Z, and the last, oh, sorry, we have you also in the team. How would that person feel? Probably not great. But if he starts with his name, so see, again, at every moment, Duryodhana is using his diplomacy. He's very, very intelligent, but in the wrong way. Isn't it? So the names used here, of course, we know, we have discussed about Dronacharya briefly, the teacher, Bhishma, the grandfather. He had taken vow to remain celibate, but he was very, like the son of Mother Ganga, very, very powerful, like one man army. And these were very, very powerful soldiers. They could defeat the whole Pandavas single-handedly. That much strength he had. Dronacharya and Bhishma and Karna also was very, very powerful, very, very powerful. And there's a long story about Karna, which maybe some other time we'll discuss. Kripacharya, Ashwathama. Now, it's very interesting to mention the name of Vikarna. Vikarna was one of the 100 brothers of around the 99 other brothers of Duryodhana. Duryodhana and Dushasana are some of the highly known, but no one knows Vikarna. So why is Duryodhana mentioning the name of Vikarna with these mighty soldiers like Bhishma and Dronacharya? It's very, very interesting, because there is again a very, very interesting story from Mahabharata. Because when Mata Draupadi was being disrobed, everyone else was silent. But Vikarna was the only one who said, brothers, what are you doing? You're inviting your death by doing such a wrong act, such an act of adharma or irreligion. So better stop it. So he was the one who objected that act. No one else did. And Duryodhana knew it very well. So before the battle could begin, the soldiers or each individual had the choice to change parties. If they feel that they are not on the correct side, they have the choice to change. But Duryodhana here is expertly encouraging Vikarna. Oh, Vikarna, counting him with Bhishma. Let's say if one is an ordinary, if one has a, like, let's say, new engineer. Okay, let's say I joined in the company as a new engineer. Okay, but there are other big people like director of operations and director of finance and director of HR, and they are very, like, they have 30, 40 years of experience, and I'm just a new grad and not knowing much. And then the company general manager makes a team of all these big shots and counts me in also. How would I feel? Or how would you feel if you're in the team? Won't you feel that I must be very special for this team, that they chose me here, right? How many of you will feel that? Correct? You'll feel that, right? This is very tactical. You'll feel, wow, I must be of some great value to this team. That all these are so great people. I see Mataji is completely able to relate to this situation. That's wonderful because and that's how these leaders are sometimes very expert also to get a lot of training.
They're very smart enough. They're very smart enough to bring the other person in their team.
Interesting. Yes. So see, Bhagavad Gita teaches us so many things we can use not only in our day-to-day life but also at work if we have those eyes to see. So now Duryodhana is expertly encouraging Vikarna, you are of great value to us. Don't think of changing the sides because earlier you thought of that that the Pandavas are correct and you were opposing us. But forget about that thought because you are the main hero. He didn't take the name of Dushasana, who was also very like equivalent to, you can say, Duryodhana. Like his, next after Duryodhana comes Dushasana. If we have to talk about the 100 brothers. So again, there will not lot of names here. So I want to share this with you again so that you can absorb all the names or some of the names. Again, you don't have to by heart it, but it will be helpful to understand the whole, summary. So the 100 Kauravas, Duryodhana, Dushasana, and I carefully put it here because he had tendency to go here. And Vikarna was pulled by expertise of Duryodhana. Don't go there, stay here. Okay, don't go to that line. You are in my team. Okay. And we discussed about Dronacharya, Ashwatthama was his son. We discussed about the milk story as well. Karna, Bhishma, the grandfather. Vyasdev was, saintly person. And Sanjay is just telling the story to Dhritarashtra here. So just kind of summarizes Draupadi and Drishtadyumna. These are the sons of daughters of Draupadi. Okay, let's move on to the next verse. So we discuss about the sum of the parties on the side of the Kauravas. Okay, let's discuss about more. Text number 9. Anye cha bhava shura madarthe tyaktva jivitah nana shastra praharanah sarve yuddha visharadaha. Okay, number translation for text number 10. Sorry, 9. Yes, Krishi, Mataji, want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, the heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. Prabhupada gives a very nice purport. In other words, it is already concluded that all of them would die in the battlefield of Kurukshetra for joining the party of the sinful Duryodhana. Because if we are on the side of Adharma, no matter we may be Bhishma, no matter we may be Drona, Charya, no matter how powerful we may be, if we are on the side of Adharma or sinful person or sinful activities, it's just a matter of time that we will be vanquished. Okay. So in one, he was encouraging the other heroes also that, well, he can't take all the names. He took some of the names, but he can't take all the names. So he's encouraging others as well. So now he moves on. Like other Prabhupada is mentioning some name, Jayadrat, Kritavarma, etc. Okay. Let's read text 10. Aparyaptam tadasmakam balam bhishma abhirakshitam paryaptam tavidam te etesham balam bhima abhirakshitam. Okay, this one is 10. Okay. Someone who is not read, yes, Vipul Prabhu, want to read text 10's translation?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Aparapatam, our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. Thank you, Prabhuji and Mataji.
Thank you so much. So there is one advantage to turning the video on. I can see you and I can easily tell that person to read. So there is one bonus. If you would like to read, please keep your videos on. That's a candy you get for keeping the video on. You will get chance to read, which is great, right? Because all this is Brahmavakya. This is so purifying. Just reading Bhagavad Gita, every word is so powerful. So our strength is immeasurable and their strength is measurable. Their strength is protected by Bhima, who is immeasurable or who's limited, sorry. Our strength is the mighty Bhishma. Bhishma itself means great. Bhishma, when he did that pratigya that I will never marry, the demigods were showering flowers and said, Bhishma, Bhishma, Bhishma. And that's how his name came to be Bhishma. He was certainly extraordinary in every aspect. Even there was a battle, which is a long story, between Parshuram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Bhishma. The match ended in draw. Even Parshuram, could not defeat. Of course, that's a pastime of the Lord, but the point here is that he was very, very powerful. And there is now, after sharing the names of the Pandava side and the Kaurava side, now he's doing a comparative analysis. Okay, he's doing a Duryodhana's analysis. In Duryodhana's analysis, what is shared, Prabhupada is mentioning that Bhishma, they are referred to as big whales who could, eat. There is a type of fish called Timingala who could even devour or, gallop big whales. So all these great personalities like Bhishma, Dronacharya are compared to those big whales. And Pandavas, Arjuna, Bhima, Yudhishthira are compared to tiny figs. Who all have eaten figs in their lives? Anjeer called in Hindi. They've eaten figs. Just like this much. Okay, you may have eaten. So when next time you eat fig or see fig, you can get reminded of Pandavas and this pastime. So what's the comparison of, like, let's say peanuts versus a big whale? Is there any comparison? There is no comparison. So Duryodhana was kind of very confident that victory will be ours, because look at the army on our side. We have such these mighty warriors who are far superior. So he was very, very confident, overconfident. And Our strength is aparyaptam. And their strength is paryaptam, is limited. So aparyaptam has here two meanings. Aparyaptam, one meaning is immeasurable, and one meaning is insufficient. So in one way, the Duryodhana was telling that our strength is insufficient. That's what the acharyas also mentioned here. But sometimes the person does not feel so. Because if one is spiritually blind, one cannot see the greatness of others. Correct? We discussed that point. Both Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra were spiritually blind. So spiritually blind people just are puffed up in their own strengths. Oh, I am so great. Oh, I have this. Oh, I have that. But in their whole analysis of Duryodhana, one thing is missing. Guess what? Any answers? Raise your hand if you would like to try this one.
Krishna.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Very nice point, Avinash. Very nice point. Excuse me. So Duryodhana's analysis is Duryodhana's ungodly analysis. He said about the warriors on this side and what and he and she and whatnot. He forgot the main person. And who is that? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna, Lord Mukunda, Lord Keshava. And he forgot the main hero. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhuti Dhruvani Tirmatir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, wherever there is Arjuna, there will be certainly victory. There will be certainly opulence. There will be certainly all religion. In text number 14, Prabhupada's purport, Prabhupada is mentioning, Jayastu Panduputranam Yesham Pakshe Janardana. Yesham Pakshe Janardana. Where, in whose side there is Krishna, Jayatu Jayatu, that person will be victorious always. So my dear friends, when you can say, well, what's the lesson in here? The lesson, there's a very deep practical lesson as well. In life, am I doing analysis like Duryodhana? Or am I doing analysis like Arjuna? When the time came before the battle, both Duryodhana and Arjuna approached Krishna because to ask something. Duryodhana asked for the energies of the Supreme Lord, and Krishna asked for the Supreme Lord. Sorry, Arjuna asked for Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Thank you. Therefore, she is sitting next to me. She is my better intelligence. If I go wrong, she corrects me. Thank you. And that's how husband and wife should help each other to be more Krishna conscious. The family, father, mother, children should help each other to be more Krishna conscious. So thank you. Going back to the ungodly analysis of Duryodhana. Duryodhana wanted the energy of the Lord without the Supreme Lord. So in life, am I doing ungodly analysis like Duryodhana? Oh, I have this much money in this bank account. Oh, I have this savings. Oh, I have this home or this car. And the success of one's life is determined by those assets, so-called assets, correct? When someone is getting married to someone else, what's the first thing they'll ask? Oh, what's your income, right? How much degrees you have? What's your income? Do you have your home, or you live in what place you live? So in life, they forget, do you follow dharma or are you on the side of adharma? Correct? So in life also, my dear friends, we should not do ungodly analysis. These material things, no matter we have the best of the material things, which Duryodhana did have. Duryodhana's strength was, there was no match to Bhishma and Drona. Absolutely. Prabhupada is mentioning they were like big whales and the Pandavas were like figs, tiny figs. But if one has Krishna on one side, then victory will certainly be with that person. who has Krishna on their side, who has Dharma on their side, who has the Supreme Lord on their side. So we should always remember that if Krishna is with us, then victory will be ours. If Krishna is not on our side, no matter how much money we may have, how big home we have, how many cars we have, all that will not count as the success parameter. In the material world, people may count that as success parameter. But in the game of life, that's not the success parameter. At the time of death, will it matter how many cars we have in our garage or outside? How much money we have in our bank account? How big of a home we have? Or whether we live at a rented place or our own place? Will that all matter? No. What will matter is how much dharma we have on our side, how much Krishna consciousness we cultivated in our life, how much we followed the side of the Supreme Lord, or we followed the side of adharma like Duryodhana. Okay? Any is it okay? Is everyone getting the point? Or is it too complex? Okay. So in short, Duryodhana's analysis was completely ungodly and completely took out Krishna out of the picture. That's a demonic propensity. But Pandavas, and also Duryodhana party had 11 Akshani Senas, and Pandavas had only 7. Much smaller number, correct? And of course, these great soldiers like Bhishma and Drona, they were really uncomparable. There was no match. But Krishna is equivalent to millions of and zillions of such Bhishmas. Cannot do anything, right? So we'll keep moving. Now, text number 11. Yes. Anyeshu cha sarveshu yatha bhagam avasthitah Bhishmam evabhirakshantu bhavan sarva evahi. Yes, Aparna Mataji, would you like to read, please?
Hare Krishna. Duryodhana, after praising the prayers of Bhishma, I was reading purport. All of you must now give full support to the grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So now he's encouraging, and I want to especially give my deep gratitude to any or all the devotees joining from India. It's like 4 a.m. there or 5 a.m. now. It started at 4. So you're joining from India, which is really beginning the day with Bhagavad Gita in the morning at 4 a.m. in the Brahma Muhurta hours is certainly praiseworthy. So thank you so much. So all of you means all of the other general soldiers, you must give a lot of protection. So it's kind of, he's encouraging everyone that, oh, all of you are very, very integral part of my team. You must give full protection. Without you, our company cannot do anything, right? That's a standard speech in the, you are the main resource, the human resource of our team, right? Without you, we are nothing. So Duryodhana is telling that, all of you must give full protection, do your best. We can do great this year. We will certainly fight this and win over. But ultimately, we know that what's going to happen. I'll just quickly move through some other verses as well. Then the conches blew, okay, 12 to 19, the conches blew. So first, Bhishma blew his conch very, very loudly. The grandfather blew his conch shell, and Prabhupada mentions very nicely, indirectly, symbolism of the conch shell. He informed the depressed grandson Duryodhana that he had no chance of victory in the battle. So Bhishma blew his conch shell and kind of indirectly told that, because Bhishma was obligated to fight, and that's a long story in itself, because the Supreme Lord Krishna was on that side. So Bhishma knew that very well. He's a great soul. He's a Mahatma. He's a Mahajana. He's not an ordinary person. So he knew very well, but still he was fighting because it's like a 1-hour class. Why was he fighting on that side? Okay, maybe some other day we'll discuss. text 13, after that, the other conch shells, drums, bugles, like a kind of, an atmosphere was created. The war is about to start, and trumpets and horns and everything, like a passionate environment is created because war means passion, anger. So it was all very, very tumultuous. And finally, what happened? On the other side, Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, blew their transcendental conch shell. So their conch shell is referred to as Divya Shankho. The Kaurava Shankhas were not referred as transcendental. But Krishna's everything is transcendental. Janma karma chame divyam, which will come later. So his Shankha, his Panchachanya is also transcendental. Because he's a supreme lord. He's not an ordinary person. So Krishna blew his conch shell, and that's what I mentioned before. Jayastu Pandu Putranam Yesham Paksha Janardanam. Victory, if Krishna is on our side, victory is always with persons like the sons of Pandu, because Krishna is associated with them. In short, if we also become devotees, if we also get connected to Krishna, then Krishna will be on our side. And in our life, we will always be victorious. Okay. And just I'll briefly mention, since I want to leave some time for questions, reflections, and then you can study till text 19. So we are right now at about 15. So all the conch shells were blown, and the Pandavas also blew their respective conch shell, and others also blew their respective conch shell. So basically everyone blew their conch shell. Okay. This is still text number 19. And then the Kauravas' heart shattered when Krishna blew their conch shell. When Bhishma blew their conch shell, Pandava's heart did not shatter. Text number 19 is explaining this point. Hridayani vidhi vyadara yat. And I mentioned this, the lie detector kind of. If I'm speaking lie, and let's say Ravi Prabhuji has a lie detector, and he is a doctor, so he says, well, I have a lie detecting machine. If you speak a lie, then this will detect. So if I am speaking lie, then my heart will be very, very nervous, pounding very hard. Well, he's an expert doctor, and then if he catches me, I don't know what will happen. And because but if I'm speaking truth, will my heart shatter? Will I be nervous? No. Well, I'm what I'm. Get any machine. I'm not fearful of anything. So Pandavas were like that because they were on the side of Dharma. But the hearts of Kauravas were shattering because so many symptoms were there. They were following adharma. They were spiritually blind. The war was at the Dharma Kshetra. So the weeds like Kauravas will be gone, and the seeds like Pandavas will mature. So all these symptoms knew very, very clearly that the victory will be on the Pandavas' side. And therefore their hearts were getting shattered when they heard these transcendental concepts. So that's still text number 19. And I request everyone to read till this point, and then the topic changes from text 20 to what happens to Arjuna. That we will cover in the next class. So we have about 10 minutes. Let's take some reflections or any questions which anyone may have at this point. Anything you like, any questions, we are open for that. And try it so that your questions pertain to this as far as possible. Anyone would like to say something, tell, ask?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Please.
I'm not sure if I missed like that part. You said like Bhishma blew his conch shell and Duryodhana got the joy of it. But Bhishma knows already that Krishna is on the other side, right? And they are going to win. So then Bhishma is a grandfather. Why he didn't try to stop all this? Like he knows he's a Mahatma, right? He knows everything. It's a very basic question. I'm sorry, but like just wanted to know that.
It's great. Please don't feel sorry. Every
Because
question is good.
he's very like he knows everything, right? So then why he didn't stop to stop this like war, or why he didn't try it from his side?
It's a great question. Thank you. And it ties to again the spiritual blindness of Duryodhana. When a person is spiritually blind, he was not just blind to the seeing the good in others, he was blind to accepting the good advice also. It's not that the other people in the on the side of Duryodhana did not give good counsel. Well, this comes again in the Bhagavatam. Vidura, the uncle, said, and I made a video actually, so I remember this. Vidura said to Duryodhana. Vidura also was great personality like Bhishma. Why are you doing all this? Even Krishna said, why don't you just give 5 villages? So it's not that the attempts were not made to do peace. A lot of attempts were made, but a lot of people tried their best. But Duryodhana was blind to accept any good counsel. So it's a very important lesson in practical life also. And we see that in Ravana's story, same situation. His own brother, Vibhishana, gave so much good counsel. His brother, Kumbhakarna, gave so much good counsel. Maricha gave so good counsel. His wife, Mandodari, gave so good counsel, but he was blinded by lust. So when we are so blinded, when we are so puffed up in our own, we are blind to good advice. Therefore, he did not accept any of those and caused his own ruination. Does that answer?
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. Yeah, if you have a question or you want to share a reflection, please raise your hand so you can know. Yes, Amit Kumarji, please.
Hi, Prabhuji. So I want to ask, like, why did Dronacharya is on the cover of our site instead of having a vast amount of knowledge? Yeah, that is my question.
Thank you. Where are you joining from?
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Oh, thank you. So certainly a sangam of devotees joining from all over the globe. Not just US, but India, and I think some from other continents as well. So again, as I said, for both Dronacharya and Bhishma, some reasons are common and some are very, very special. It's a very, very big question, but I'll give very, very brief answer. Because they were obligated. Because they had kind of eaten the salt. In Hindi they say namak khaya. So they were obligated to, and Bhishma had taken a vow that whoever is on the throne, I will protect the throne. So I will fight. And this is external reason. Now there's internal reason also. Internal reason is Krishna wanted to teach the whole world that you may be son of Ganga Putra. You may have done PhD from Harvard, because Bhishma went to the upper planetary systems to get his education. So in modern day, you may have done PhD from Harvard or Yale or whatever. But if you're on the side of adharma, so Krishna uses his own devotees like Bhishma, like Dronacharya. They were both devotees of the Lord. There are multiple pastimes. They were both devotees. Sometimes he uses his own devotee to put on the other side to teach some lessons. So that was the lesson which the Lord wanted to teach, that if you take the side of adharma, you will be into ruination, no matter you may be Duryodhana, no matter you may be Dronacharya or Bhishma Pitama itself. That's a brief answer. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to tell, like, Karthik Prabhu from Tampa referred me to join this group. He's my brother, actually. Karthik and Veena. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah. That's wonderful. That you have a great brother, I must say. And that's actually real brotherhood, to help us to connect to God, to help us understand the science of Bhagavad Gita. So I encourage to keep spreading this brotherhood by sharing this with more and more people, and let more and more people take the benefit of Bhagavad Gita, of the nectar of Ganga, of Gita. Thank you. Yes, Aparna Mataji has raised hand, so please ask your question or comment.
Hare Krishna. A teacher should remain impartial. Don't you feel it was a bias that he was supporting Kauravas, the evil? I don't refer them as evil, but they were evil in heart. But why did he sided them?
I think same question he asked. There are external reasons and there are internal reasons. I just answered that. And at this point, the teaching business is over. Now this is a real fight going on. The teaching, as a teacher, he was impartial, we can say, because he gave the education to his own, to the person who later killed him, and he was born to kill him, referring to Duryodhana. So yes, teacher should not distinguish. But now, point number one, we discussed the two internal and external reasons, and point number two, we discussed that this is not teaching going on. This is like fight going on. Now is the time to select. So, is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Any other comments, reflections? Anything struck you? Let's take a few reflections. Anything you really, kind of take home, what you're taking, or maybe one or two lines, real quick, one or two Prabhus, one or two Matajis, would like to share? What's your take home message for today? Anyone? Anita Mataji from Jackson, would you like to share? Thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, no, all this while I was just focusing on the shlokas. That's where, I'm just trying to learn how to pronounce. So that's my biggest takeaway. So, like, this is going to be my second time read. Like, I'm in chapter 17 and starting again from first chapter. So this time my focus will be to, pronounce correctly the shlokas.
Very nice. Very nice. Every word of Bhagavad Gita, if one recites, one will not face Yamadutas. That means one will go back home. Vishnudutas will come. Thank you. Any other comments? Any additions? Anyone else wants to share? Any questions anyone may have?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I just want to say you mentioned so nicely that if our lives, like Duryodhana, he was never considering Krishna. One Prabhu answered your question so nicely that the difference was Krishna was not in Duryodhana's mind at all. So that's the take-home message I want to take, that if we keep Krishna in our mind, then it's going to be successful or victorious. Thank you.
Very nice. If Krishna is on our side, victory is assured. If Krishna is missing, all the degrees and material calculations will just remain zeros. It's like 0, 0, 0. All these, Prabhupada gives a very nice example. If I have, all these are compared to 0, wonderful degrees, 1, 0, wealth, knowledge, recognition, followers, prestige, 0, 0, 0. What is 10 zeros equal to? All zeros. It's 0, right? Whether 1, 0 or 10, 0. But if you put 1 in front, then it becomes valuable. So that 1 is the one of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Thank you for that reflection. Anyone else before we wind up? Ravi Shankar Prabhu, you want to say something?
Prabhuji, I wanted to say the same thing, but I just heard from other devotee. We have to keep Krishna in our center no matter what we do. That's the one, and that everything else is zeros.
Thank you. Very nice. Very nice. So, very nice. I thank you all once again for your enthusiasm, your participation, your eagerness. So yesterday, last time, there were more devotees on the call, and let's try it that the number at least remains constant or grows up. That means we are all have to spread the spirit of brotherhood, like how Karthik Prabhu invited his friend Amit or brother Amit Kumarji. So please try. And no matter if they're joining from session 1 or 2 or 3 or 5, it won't really make a much difference, because every session is special and unique in its own, because every word of Bhagavad Gita is purified. Okay, so that's my humble request. And again, so the recordings will be available, and also I encourage everyone to do reading till text number 19 or 20, and the next time we will do from 20, and we'll try to cover this first chapter. Okay, so thank you so much once again for your eagerness. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.